Yeah guys, for entity framework code first DB first approach, first let me create a project console application. Okay, here first you need to go to Solution Explorer. So you need to right click on the project, go to add, and here you need to select new item. So in this left hand side templates you need to select data. Then there is an option called ADO.NET Entity Data Model. Entity data model means, so it contains several entities. Entity is nothing but object created for a table can be called as an entity. List of entities will create a table, I mean to say. So just I am giving some name DB model. Then you will get an option what type of entity model you want to create. So I need to create from database. That is the reason I will select the first option, EF designer from database. So entity framework design, I just want to generate from database. Click on next option. So then you need to go click on this new connection. It will ask for your server name. So you know right how to enter your server name. So you can enter here your server name and select the authentication mode, whether it is Windows authentication or SQL authentication. So if this authentication and the database server name is correct, then it is going to pull out the list of databases available. So then I am taking some DB employees as my database. So if you click on test connection, it need to be succeeded. Then click on OK. Then again click on OK. So then system, guys, one more option here. Suppose if your connection whatever you have taken, if you are using SQL Server authentication, so SQL Server authentication will always contain password, right? So then this option will get highlighted to select yes or no. So because the connection string will be get saved in this app.config, whether you are okay for that or not. So if you select yes, it is going to save here. If you select no, it is going to save somewhere in the internal files. Okay. So now this entire connection, so that is going to ask for the context name, and the context name I am giving it is DB entities. You can give any name, but this name you need to remember. So because this is what the context name that you are working with. What is mean by context in the sense? So a database will contain several tables, right? So all these will be together mapped into one particular namespace. You can call that is what context. So that is what context. Context is nothing but it is like a namespace which contain all tables. So this name is going to contain whatever the database tables you are going to select. So those will be generated as a classes in the front end. So these all will be there under this particular context class. So this name you need to remember. According to that only you can able to perform transactions. So click on next. So you can select what is entity framework version that you want to use. So 5.0, 6.x. 6.x in the sense whatever the latest available in the internet. So that is going to take that version. So from where website is there called newget.org. This website is going to have the list of open source projects belongs to .NET. List of open source projects belongs to .NET. So here if you search for entity framework, the project DLL will be there here. So you can see entity framework core. This is what entity framework. So this is by Microsoft company itself. So this is a open source library. Whichever the projects developed by different developers, they are going to host their DLLs. DLL is nothing but shortcut of your entire project that you can find here. So when you select this entity framework 6.x version, so it is going to take from a library, or else if you have internet connection, that is going to download the latest version. So 6.x you can see here. So 6.4.4 is the latest one, that is going to take the latest version. So as of now, is the steps are clear to everyone? Guys, is it clear as of now?
Sir, can you explain once again?
By anyway, the steps are going recorded. I am recording additionally, so I will share that video. I'm just asking
Yeah.
if the concept is clear or not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Because I know these steps are not going to be clear at one shot. That too, recording video you will receive at the end of the day. That's the reason I'm just recording it, and I will share you once this concept is completed.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
So here you have two versions, Entity Framework 5.0 and 6.x. So always better take the latest version and click on next. So here system is going to fetch the tables. Views I was not covered somehow, I will cover that. So stored procedures will be there. So from tables I am just going to select my table which I want to work with. But as I said, you need to remember the thumb rule. Table need to contain a primary key, otherwise it cannot be operated by using entity framework. So this employee table already have a primary key whenever I created. You can see here. So there is a primary key, so that I can able to use that in my program. So now select your table which you want to work with, and here you need to understand these two options. What are these two? Pluralize or singularize the object name. So employee is my class, so which can able to store one row of data, right? So class always can store one row of data, but employee is a table here, so that means it can contain multiple, so then it need to contain a plural name. So employee will become employees when it is a list. So that is what pluralize. Suppose if it is already plural, so system will make singularize when creating a table class. So I will give you clarity once it is generated, okay? So next, when there is a dependency, so if any other tables are, if any other table is used as a reference for this, so that table also will be mapped here. That is what include foreign key column in the model. You should not disturb the second one. In case if you want to uncheck this, you can do that. But for better naming conventions, you should not disturb these two options, okay? And you need to select the tables which you want to work and click on finish option. So system is going to generate the database table structure graphically. That is what entity framework data model. Entity framework data model. So in the meanwhile it is adding. So since you people are doing first time, you will get an warning messages, yes or no, okay, cancel, just accept everything, okay? So since I am doing lot many times, so that won't ask me any errors, because I already selected an option yes, and I selected don't show it again. That is the reason it won't show any warning messages to me. If you get any pop-up, simply click OK or whatever the option to proceed, you can select that one. Now you can see, so this is my EDMX file, entity data model file. So whatever the tables you selected, those all will be displayed here. If there is any relation will be shown here. So this is how you can see the table structure graphically. So let me save this file by using Ctrl S, or else you can select the save all option. Now let's try to understand what happened in the background with these options. So I was just created an entity model, and I was selected the database connection, and I was selected my database, and I selected which table I want to work. So what is happened internally? First thing you need to observe, so whichever the connection you have given, so that connection will be saved in your app.config. So I said to remember this name, right? DB entities I had given manually. So with that name, system is going to generate a connection string for the database server, whichever I given. So server name, initial catalog, integrated security true. So till that is fine. Additionally, you can see it is going to use provider name is equal to system.data.entity client. Earlier it is used to write SQL client. So you can use entity client also. So what is this provider name if you ask me? As I said, whenever you are using ADO.NET, so for database to database product, the syntaxes are going to change. So like that, but entity framework will use common syntax, right? So though it is using common syntax, it need to understand what is the database product. From this provider name, entity framework project will understand what is the database product that you are working with. So this namespace, either you can write a system.data.entity client, or else you can write SQL client also, so that system will have an understanding, so that program is going to be connected with SQL server. If it is MySQL, you need to write here as MySQL client, but this is an auto generated code, don't disturb that one. I'm just trying to show you. So this is going to generate a connection string, how we wrote in the previous session. Next, coming to this, here you can observe dbmodal.edmx, that is what the graphical representation, just now we seen that. So if you open this option, so you can see one object called context. Context, as I already said, it is a name, it is like a namespace which contains all entity framework classes that tables you selected. So if you open that, there is a CS file. Let me open that. So now you can see DB entities. So it is going to inherit the predefined DB context. So this DB context is there from system.data.entity namespace. System.data.entity namespace. It will have a constructor. So in this constructor, you are passing to the base class. You are passing values to the base class. What is the connection string it need to use? So just now I had shown you the connection string. So connection string name is DB entities, that is going to be passed to the base class. So I mean, you are passing to entity framework classes that this is the connection string you have to use. So ignore this, as of now you not require what it need to be done while models are creating. You can see there is an employee class. DB set is similar to list. DB set is similar to list. DB set is especially generated for entity framework classes, where that is going to contain some list of sets similar to the data sets. So this is going to be plural name. This is singular name, this is plural name. So this is the class name. So if you press F12, or else if you check here somewhere, you will have that table also. You can find that. Yeah, you can see under DB model. So there is employee class is there. So you can see you have EID. So where the column name is EID, and it has name property string. So name varchar. Next you have int age. So here also int age. So string mobile. So mobile varchar. So designation string. So here you can see designation varchar. So your table was generated as a class here. So it can be grouped up into this context file with of DB set type. So there will be a plural name. That means more than one record will be used with this name. That is what enumerable type, list type you can ask me. So this is how what will be happen in the background. Is it is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Many people, please respond. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So forget about all this stuff what happened. So now I just want to store one record into this employee table. I just want to store one record into this employee table. You can see as of now we have 2 records. Now I just want to add one more record. So first let us take using. So normally we need to write SQL connection, then the SQL command, command type, command text, connection open, execute non-query. So we need to write lot many steps in ADO.NET. So here, as I already said you to remember the context name, right? What is the context name? DB entities I had given. So you can create an object name for the context. So you have to create object for context file. So in case if it is not clear to you, so you can get to know from app.config whatever the name of the connection string is there. So always 99% that is going to your context name. Otherwise you can open your database model EDMX file. So you can see whatever the name before, so name, if you open this context class, whatever the name of the class is there, that name is going to be your context. So I am creating an object for this context. Now whichever the table that you want to store data, for that you can create one object, employee e1 is equal to new employee. So I hope this syntax you remember. Instead of every time writing e1 dot name, e1 dot age, e1 dot designation, I already shown you this example at the time of class and objects while going with OOPS topics. I hope you remember that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So here you need to load the values, but you no need to load this value EID, because EID is an identity column. So whether it is front end or back end, you cannot disturb that identity column. You can insert only name, age, mobile and designation. So name is equal to some age, designation, and mobile number. So you are going to load data to the model class object. So after that you want to insert data, right? So then you can take object of the context file, because it is there inside of this one. This employees is there inside of this class. So that's the reason you need to write the object name db dot, then you can able to access that collection db set collection employees dot add. So however we are adding data in a collection, in the same way you are going to pass this entity to this db set collection. That's it. Now your record will get added to the database, but it is not permanent. So how you need to make it permanent means, after every DML operation, so you need to write db dot save changes. I mean the object of this context dot save changes. The save changes is a method from this parent class. So whenever you are performing any transactions on a table, so in case if you want to make them permanent, commit the changes, so then you are going to use this db dot save changes. Now if I execute so nothing you will get, because I didn't wrote any return statement. So we can able to write, I mean to say. Now let's check in the table whether it is the record was saved or not. You can see the record is saved or not. So now if you observe here, we didn't wrote SQL connection, we didn't wrote SQL command, what type of command it is, command text, connection, execute, enabling the connection and executing the query. So nothing is there. You just treated it as a front end class and you just sending the data to the collection. Is it clear? Any queries as of now? So guys, here you can notice one thing. However, for DML commands, execute non-query is returning how many rows affected. So this save changes method also will return an integer. So according to the type of the query, if that is DML, so you will get the number of rows affected. So as it is, you are going to take int rows. If rows greater than 0, at least one row is affected, then I can print inserted successfully. Else fail to insert. So now let me change some names. Now let me execute once again. Now you will get the statement inserted successfully, because here you will get row count is 1. So 1 is greater than 0, so that is going to print this statement. Okay, here also you can check the record was inserted. Is this is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is how you can insert a record. So guys, I am not copying code today, because if I copy, if you won't have similar name, so obviously it will throw an error. So you need to start from the scratch. This recording will help you in that. Okay. Now the next one, how to print the data. How to print the data on the screen. So here, as it is, you need to create object for the context file. That is mandatory for every operation. So since you can print by using for each loop directly, or else you can save it in a list also. db dot whatever the table name, the db set name, you can simply convert it into toList. So what is the return type? List of employee will be the return type. List of employee will be the return type. Employees. That's it. db dot employees dot toList. Then you will get all the records from the table. So now you know how to print from a list, right? So you will take employee, some E1 in the collection employees. So now you can print. So console right line, you can mention what properties you want to print. If it is ADO, you don't know what columns you need to write. Always you need to write in square bracket of 0, or else in double quotes you need to write the column name while fetching, right? But here it is an advantage. So you can get the data. So since it is tightly coupled element, and you can mention what properties that you want to print. That's it. You can execute now. You will get all the records. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
In case
Yes, sir.
you want to filter, I want to get a specific record. So here you can mention dot where, you know this lambda expression, right? So where x dot age greater than 25 example. So then only you can see only the data. So or else you want to get the records whose age is whose ID is something, you can write ID equal to 3. EID, sorry. Then you will get only that record. You can see this. In case if you want to get only one record, you know, right? Dot first or default you need to use. So this is how we need to select the data, and that can be printed on the screen. Now let's go for the next one. How to update the record. How to update the record. So you need to write db.employees dot where. So on what base you want to update the data. So x dot eid equal to 3 dot first or default. If you are not using first or default, system is expecting more than one record. So then you can take employee E1. The result is being stored in this E1. Now you can pass what is the data to update. Just observe the record number 3. So record number 3 is this one. I am trying to change the name. Okay. E1 dot name is equal to. That's it. Whatever the columns you want to update, you can pass E1 dot something. So now after that, db dot save changes. That's it. This change will be effective in the database. db dot save changes. Again, you know, it is going to return number of rows effective, right? Rows equal to, if rows greater than 0, then print updated successfully, else failed to update or something you can write, but I am not writing that. You can see updated successfully. So if you go to this, you can observe this record. I am just updating it now. you can observe that name was modified. Is it clear how to update?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So first of all, you need to select the record or records you want to update. Okay. So now in case if I want to modify more than one, in case if I want to update more than one row at a time. So here it is for one record, right? So suppose I want to update all the records. Then what I will do, so instead of writing this, I am going to write directly in for each loop. So for each employee, even here I will write db.employees, so or any where condition I will write. So suppose here if you observe, wherever there is manager, that I need to change it to IT manager, more than one record. So where x dot designation equal to manager, then you will get more than one record. So with that list this loop will get repeated. So here you will do even dot designation equal to IT manager. So after that you cannot use this db save changes outside here, you need to write inside. So here if db save changes is returning at least one row as a result, then here I am going to take a count variable, int count equal to 0 whenever it is updated. So count plus plus I am going to save. So here I will write if count is greater than 0, that means how many rows are affected. So if that is more than 0, so you are going to see updated successfully. So let me write properly, count rows updated successfully. Now let's observe you can see 2 rows updated successfully. Something wrong. See 2 rows updated successfully because I was not converted it into the list format. That's the reason it's throwing an error. So now you can see these 2 records designation will get changed to IT manager. So this is how you can update multiple records. Okay, in case if you want to delete it, so simply you are going to write db.employees.remove of even. So then that record will get deleted or records will get deleted. Okay, I will show you one. This is for multiple delete. So wherever there is designation manager, that will be saved into this even. So that is going to be deleted by using this remove method. So save changes is going to delete the record permanently. Simply same program. We are not modifying. Additionally, you are going to use .remove method. If you execute, you can see the result, 2 rows deleted successfully. Oh sorry, there is no record with manager, right? It was modified with IT manager. Now you will see 2 rows deleted. You can see this 2 rows deleted successfully, multiple rows deleted. here you can see only you have 1 and 5, between records are deleted. Now in case if I want to delete one record, so you will write dot first or default, then you will pass to this remove method. So let me delete one more and show you. So db.employees.where you based on one condition, any one condition, eid equal to 1 dot first or default. So you will save with some name employee e1, or else you can take var data type also. So db.employees.remove, and you can pass this e1 object db.save changes. Let's apply this on if condition. If this db save changes count is greater than 0, so then I can print deleted successfully, else failed to delete. That's it. You can see the data deleted successfully. This is how you can delete one record. So this is the advantage of entity framework without writing a single SQL query. So it is going to able to perform all the database transactions. So maybe you can feel it is a replacement for ADO.NET, but it is actually, so it is an enhancement of ADO.NET. Internally it is going to execute the same SQL statements like insert, delete and update. So this ORM is going to map your tables, columns as a classes. That's going to generate classes from the structure. This ORM tool will map this column, so this property with this ID column. So like that it is going to map each and every property as a column. So that's the reason it can able to perform the transaction. Is this concept is clear to everyone now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now I'm just sharing this video with you.